Ali was a struggling university student, juggling classes, tuition, and a part-time job. Life was hard, and money was always tight. He often dreamt of a better life, but reality seemed unkind. One evening, he received an unexpected message from a dating site. A wealthy woman named Mrs. Yasmin, 71, reached out. She claimed she was seeking companionship and someone who could bring laughter to her life. Ali hesitated. The age difference was huge, but curiosity and the promise of financial security drew him in. He decided to meet her, unsure of what awaited. Their first meeting was in a lavish mansion on the outskirts of the city. Mrs. Yasmin welcomed him with warmth, her elegance filling the room. Ali was awestruck by the grandeur of the house, with marble floors, crystal chandeliers, and priceless art lining the walls. They talked over tea, and Ali noticed her sharp wit and youthful energy despite her age. She laughed easily and shared stories of her adventures, travels, and business achievements. Ali felt a strange mixture of admiration and nervousness. Mrs. Yasmin surprised Ali by expressing her desire to marry quickly. She explained she was alone and wanted companionship before it was too late. Ali was taken aback but considered the possibilities: security for himself, support for his studies, and a way out of financial struggles. After careful thought, he agreed, believing it was a pragmatic decision. Their wedding was planned within days, a small yet opulent affair with close friends and family. On their wedding day, Ali wore a rented suit and felt out of place amidst the wealth and grandeur. Mrs. Yasmin, radiant in a designer gown, smiled at him warmly. Guests admired their unusual pairing, whispering and speculating about the marriage. Ali couldn't ignore the attention or the contrast between his humble background and her luxurious lifestyle. As they exchanged vows, he felt a mix of excitement and anxiety, unaware that life would soon take a shocking turn. The first day of married life felt surreal. Ali explored Mrs. Yasmin's mansion, amazed by its grandeur, massive rooms, imported furniture, and a personal library with rare books. He also noticed her personal staff, a house manager, chefs, and maids attending to every detail. Yet, despite the wealth, Mrs. Yasmin treated him as an equal, inviting him to share meals, discuss plans, and even offer opinions about the house. Ali felt both grateful and overwhelmed. By the second day, Ali realized that Mrs. Yasmin had a playful side. She enjoyed practical jokes and often teased him about his modest lifestyle. She took him to her private garden, where exotic plants bloomed, and a fountain sparkled under the sun. Ali began to relax, laughing with her, enjoying a sense of freedom he hadn't known in years. Despite the age gap, he felt a genuine connection forming, filled with curiosity and wonder. On the third day, Ali discovered Mrs. Yasmin's philanthropic side. She invited him to a charity meeting, showing her deep involvement in community projects. She spoke passionately about helping orphans and funding education. Ali was impressed by her dedication and vision. He started seeing her not just as a wealthy older woman, but as a person of immense character and kindness. The fourth day brought another surprise. Mrs. Yasmin invited Ali to her private art studio, where she painted vibrant canvases. Her talent amazed him. He watched her mix colors, create shapes, and breathe life into her artwork. It was inspiring, and he realized she was not just rich in money, but in creativity, experience, and knowledge. He felt honored to witness her world firsthand. On day 5, Ali began noticing small, mysterious signs around the mansion, envelopes with cash, notes about investments, and subtle hints that she trusted him with her secrets. He felt a mix of excitement and responsibility, realizing this marriage might not be as simple as he thought. Mrs. Yasmin treated him with respect, as though he were a partner, not just a husband. That evening, Mrs. Yasmin invited Ali to a private dinner in her grand dining hall. Candles flickered, creating a romantic ambiance. She spoke openly about her past, her achievements, mistakes, and regrets. Ali listened, captivated by her honesty. He felt closer to her than ever, sensing that the 7 days ahead would change his life in ways he could not yet imagine. On the 6th day, Ali accompanied Mrs. Yasmin on a business meeting. She introduced him to influential partners, confident and proud. Ali was surprised by her sharp mind and negotiating skills. She included him in discussions, asking his opinion on minor details. Ali realized her trust was genuine, and he felt a sense of pride and responsibility, understanding that her life was much more complex than he had imagined. That night, Ali reflected on the past 6 days. He realized he had learned more in a week than in years of his student life, about life, wealth, kindness, and trust. He wondered if he could truly meet her expectations, but a sense of purpose began to form in his mind. He was no longer just a poor student, he felt like a partner in a journey far bigger than himself. On the 7th morning, Ali woke to find Mrs. Yasmin preparing breakfast. She seemed more lively than ever, humming a tune. Ali noticed her routine was meticulous, yet joyful. She shared small details of her life with him, from childhood memories to favorite books and films. He listened attentively, realizing he was beginning to admire her not for her wealth, but for her spirit, energy, and perspective on life. Later that day, Mrs. Yasmin took Ali to a private gallery she had built to showcase her personal collection. Ali was stunned. Paintings, sculptures, and artifacts worth millions adorned the space. She explained each piece with passion, and Ali realized the depth of her life experiences. He understood why she had wanted companionship. She had lived fully but wished to share her legacy. As the day progressed, Ali began helping Mrs. Yasmin organize her affairs. He noticed something shocking. She had entrusted him with access to her finances, her properties, and even her will. Ali felt overwhelmed but honored, realizing the marriage was built on trust, not appearances. He had not expected to be treated as an equal partner so soon. That evening, Mrs. Yasmin shared a secret that left Ali in shock. She revealed that she had been lonely for years, seeking someone with honesty and a pure heart. Many had tried to deceive her for her wealth, but she believed Ali was genuine. Ali felt a mix of guilt and gratitude, realizing his initial intentions were partly driven by financial need, yet she trusted him fully. Mrs. Yasmin then showed Ali a hidden garden behind the mansion, filled with exotic flowers, fruit trees, and a fountain. She told him she had built it as a sanctuary for herself, a place of peace. Ali was amazed at the dedication and love she had put into creating beauty for herself and others. He felt lucky to witness such elegance and devotion firsthand. That night, Ali couldn't sleep. He pondered the whirlwind of events, the wealth, the trust, the kindness, and the revelations. He realized he had underestimated her wisdom and underestimated the depth of their connection. For the first time, he saw their marriage not as a transaction, but as a partnership rooted in mutual respect. The next morning, Mrs. Yasmin invited Ali to join her at a charity luncheon. They met influential figures, philanthropists, and local leaders. She introduced him as her husband and partner, proud of his presence. Ali felt a surge of confidence, realizing he was now part of a world he had only dreamed of entering. During lunch, Mrs. Yasmin shared stories of how she had built her fortune, her struggles, and her successes. Ali listened intently, realizing the life lessons she offered were priceless. He began to understand that her wealth was not the only thing that mattered. Her experiences, wisdom, and kindness shaped the person she was. By the evening, Ali had started to feel more comfortable in his role. Mrs. Yasmin encouraged him to explore his interests, pursue studies, and develop skills. She didn't want him dependent, she wanted him empowered. Ali realized the marriage was not about charity, but about growth, support, and companionship. That night, as they walked in the mansion's gardens under a starlit sky, Mrs. Yasmin shared her vision for the future. She wanted to create scholarships, fund medical projects, and support young entrepreneurs. Ali felt inspired, realizing their marriage could create a positive impact far beyond their personal lives. On the following morning, Ali discovered a private room filled with documents and treasures. Mrs. Yasmin revealed it was her plan to pass on her legacy responsibly. She asked him to help organize, prioritize, and even manage projects. Ali was shocked and humbled. He had never imagined such trust from someone so accomplished. That afternoon, Mrs. Yasmin invited Ali to her private library. He saw journals, letters, and memoirs detailing her life. She encouraged him to read, learn, and understand her journey. Ali felt a mix of admiration and disbelief, realizing the depth of her life experiences and the trust she placed in him. By evening, Ali began to feel a sense of responsibility he had never known. He realized wealth alone could not define Mrs. Yasmin. Her character, wisdom, and heart made her extraordinary. He felt fortunate to be accepted into her world and determined to honor the trust she had given him. On the seventh night, Ali and Mrs. Yasmin sat in the garden, reflecting on the week. He felt gratitude, admiration, and awe. He realized that in just 7 days, his life had transformed, not just in comfort or wealth, but in perspective, values, and understanding. He had seen a world he never imagined, and it humbled him. Mrs. Yasmin smiled at Ali, acknowledging their journey. She expressed joy at having found someone who could see beyond wealth and age, someone with genuine character. Ali realized he had also grown. He was no longer just a poor student, but a partner, a friend, and a confidant to an extraordinary woman. The week ended, but their journey had just begun. Ali knew the shock of those 7 days was not in wealth or luxury, but in discovering trust, kindness, and love in the most unexpected place. Their unusual marriage became a story of mutual respect, growth, and shared dreams, proving that age and wealth were no barriers to true connection.